Come on, people. What is the best read of the month? I can tell you right now, I honestly don't think anything's going to top it. This guy. This guy right here. This one. You know it. And it's amazing. Fugitive Prince. Oh my god. That. Yes! This book did not disappoint. So, coming from the 5-star book that was War Host of Vastmark, I was a little skeptical. I'm also just really bad at starting books. And Janny Wurts' books are exceptionally hard for me to start because of the prose. But once I get in, I just get in. And, oh my god! This just built on everything before it in such a fantastic manner. Yes! 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 Oh my god! How many different words do I have to say to describe Fugitive Prince? It was so fucking good! Just mind-boggling. I didn't expect to love it as much as I do, but oh man, okay. So I think I'm gonna talk about the first section, of course, spoiler free as always, spoiler 3, and first thing I want to talk about with this book is, of course, no spoilers for the first 3 books either, to be clear about that. So first thing I want to talk about is the way that this book has been building upon the foundations already laid out in terms of the world. So one of the first things I want to talk about in terms of world is the way it continues to flesh out this world. So I thought I had already a pretty much good idea of everything that had been going on. I got cocky. I'm sorry. I got cocky. I admit it. Oh my god, I know nothing. You just each and every time. Like, every time I feel like, okay, I think I have an idea of what happened. Just there's some extra piece of information that was just completely missing. This is a thing that I just need to learn to do. I don't know if I'm given part of the puzzle, I am not given the full puzzle. People really, like, I'm really good at doing that, really. But the way Wurts has just taken the previous books and just built the world out, built the magic out, and continued to flesh it out and ground it in specific rules, and then how she uses these rules, how she abuses them and uses them for the story is just absolutely fantastic. And how she hints at them throughout the first few books. She doesn't always tell you things. She hints at them slowly and slowly. And then it's not like in your face, but then when it comes out and you realize this piece of information and you go, oh, that's why this has been going on the entire time, and everything makes sense. And it's so fantastic. The second thing I want to talk about is the way the aspect of religion has been further fleshed out. So we had minor religion aspects in the first 3 books. But here, the idea of religion has grown immensely. And I'm not going to tell you how, but it has. And the focus on it and the way it and other things, the magic and a bunch of different ideas come together to help enforce this theme of freedom, this theme of duty. What is your duty? How do you do it? And if you are putting your all into this duty, is this something you want? Are you free if you are pursuing this duty? Does it make you truly free? I think it's such brilliant, fantastic ways of analyzing all this. And I love how a lot of the time these characters seem to be very polarizing. Not just in the responses, but also to in their responses in the book, but also it seems outside. You can love or you can hate these characters, and you can so easily look at these people not in a very not nuanced way. You can choose these things, but you also can choose to not do this. I love the way that Wurts plays with your head in that way. How she makes them so easy to look at in one lens and look at in a different lens as well. A more nuanced lens and also a very simplistic lens. It allows you to do so many different things with the characters that she has presented to us. And it's absolutely stunningly brilliant. Also, just take a look at this cover. Whoo! I know I've said this on my third bi-weekly reader, but man, oh man, look at this beauty. Look at that beauty. Anyways, that was one of my favorite aspects. And beyond the aspect of duty, we get the theme. It's not really a theme, but it's a motif of emotional intelligence. To understand thy enemy and to understand thyself is such a recurring theme throughout the Wars of Light and Shadow, and here you see it in so many variances. You see it in so many different ways, and how it feels like here, emotional intelligence is the key to, not victory, but it seems like it's the key to something. And I just love the way she has such displays of brilliance in the emotional sense, being able to have empathy to a great extent and not hold rage and malice against others. Because I get the choice to do that. I understand it. And it's just stunning. Absolutely brilliant. Anyways, I think that's going to cut it for the spoiler-free section. And 3, 2, 1. Spoiler-filled is now going on. So, first thing I want to talk about is the Grimoires. And thank you, Philip Chase, for... So I commented on his discussion with AP Canavan and Joanna Reeds. I think I said that right. I think that's her channel. I'll make sure to mention them in the comments. Or comments, description. There we go. The way that those Grimoires is so interesting to me is the way that they seem to... This is all because Philip's helped my ass out with... It just... The wisdom Philip shows about this stuff is, like, mind-boggling to me. He truly is BookTube's Gandalf. I mean that. But... the way that she just... It's this idea of a dragon that is dead being like you're inside a dead dragon's dream? Isn't that badass? And not only that, but it's so smart in terms of setup. It's preparing you to deal with these ancient dragons. It's so fucking cool. And it, like, gives them an ominous feeling. And with a Sandir... it's a Sandir. And his interaction with the guy at Sulfin of End. Oh my god, I love that interaction. How Sulfin of End finds Lysair and goes, "Oh, my lord of light! Oh, thank you! I love that scene so much. He's like, "Yes, you've saved me! The light has saved me!" I love it. It's so fucking good. And, my favorite scene. My favorite scene of all the Wars of Light and Shadow is the scene where Arathon comes back from the Grim Ward with Jiret. and they have their little kerfuffle, and then they talk it out, and the way Jiret looks at Arathon and all the pain that he's going through and just stares at him and goes, yeah, I know you're hurting, so I'm going to ignore that very mean jibe you just threw at me to throw me away and make sure I wouldn't get hurt in your service. Get over here. And another thing, and I think it was so good because it was built off of all these other things. What's it called? Oh, what's it called? Kale. Oh my god! Kale's chapters in this book was absolutely phenomenal. The way that he chooses to just shrug off what Arathon did and forgive him instantly. The way that he chooses to then rebel against the Coriani, who he knows that if he gets out of that thing alive, he's gonna bring down hell. Because the Coriani are not gonna take very kindly to the fact that he just not only murdered one of them, but tied up the first senior. And I let's talk about how gruesome that scene was real quickly. The scene where he pours salt water onto what's her name? Onto the lady who was healing him. And then she just becomes this old, shriveled up lady. And you just go, oh my god, that's brutal. Like, I remember sitting there going, oh, okay, I didn't expect that to happen, but okay. Let's keep going. Oh, and another thing that I absolutely loved, because it's a setup for the next book, or the next few books, is the way a Sandier... Actually, I'm not going to talk about... Yeah, I will talk about this. What's her name? Elira. I'm going to get back to a Sandier in a minute. Believe me. Elira's brilliant, like, just her saving of the child and the way that culture works was so fascinating, and the prophecy. And then the way that through her we are able to learn more about the Fellowship of the Seven. And the Fellowship of the Seven are so interesting because they are all about free will. And we get further contrasts of the Fellowship and the Coriani in that the Fellowship, they're all about free will. We will never do a thing without the consent of the doer, the consent of the person we're about to do things towards, or anything like that. Without consent, they don't do anything. And I think, like, you can even see this going back a book with the Sabridian brothers, how he just tries to convince them and says, hey, look guys, I need your consent to do this. I'm not going to just take away your memories because that's so violating. You have to tell me that I can do it, and then I'll do it. I'm not going to take them away by force. And then the Coriani force their will onto everything. They force their way into things, and they trick people, while the Fellowship always they seem to try to give everybody the truth, and then through the truth, they say, okay, what are you going to do? Can we have your approval to do this thing? Maybe they manipulate the truth, but the Coriani just outright lie. And in the Coriani, again, they force their will onto others. And we can even see this in the way that the Coriani Prime, that Moriel will force her way into her subordinates. Like how when she woke up from having her plot be failed by Kale, and then she quite literally taps into this network that is inside her servants, that is inside her subordinates, and then just peers through Elena's eyes. I think that's her name. Lorenda. Lorenda is her name. Lorenda's eyes, and Lorenda doesn't even know this. She just is forcefully looking through Lorenda, and the idea of a scrying without choice or without consent is very disturbing, you know. The idea that somebody can be spying on you through magic always is very, very, very creepy. And then how one of the things that upset me, I think it's in character. I don't like it though. is Phelan, when Arathon leaves her behind with her brother and Theric and her mother. It was such a hurtful scene because it's like, no, I want her to be happy. And then she's like, I want to be with Arathon because he's like my hero. And that one hurt. That one hurt a bit. I won't lie. But everything at the end and the way that Lorenda is continuing to be, we continue to build up Lorenda. I actually, for a moment, thought that Moriel was about to die, or that she was dead, and that we were going to get Lorenda Prime. But no, Lorenda was cocky, and that was her downfall. Man, this was just... Fugitive Prince was just... Because the thing is, I don't have gripes with this book. I just love it. And... and what's his name? Help me out. Arathon saving the other bard. If you can remember his name, please comment that. Because, man, that was a fantastic thing. Like, I loved the section and portion of Arathon saving his old friend who once saved him in Curse of the Mistwraith. Man, this was an amazing book. Oh, and I completely forgot. Myrn Sabridian and Talith. Oh, no, I gotta talk about this. Talith. God damn it, Lysair! I mean, what else do I have to say? Fuck! Why? Why? Talith! And how she was killed, and how, to the end, she chose to keep her agency, and how she still loved Lysair. She didn't respect the cause that he was working towards, but she loved Lysair. I don't understand that, but I still love that dynamic for her. And Myrn as well. I loved Myrn all throughout. He was a fantastic character. I loved all the scenes and sequences of him sneaking around, prying for information. It was all so fantastic. I mean, this book was just amazing. And it's also really useful that I wrote down notes as to all the things that I had to say. Or, not notes. I write chapter summaries after each chapter of Janny Wurts' books. That's why it takes me so long to read her books, because I read the book, or I read the chapter, and then I go to my computer and I type up a whole chapter summary, and then I go back and read, and it takes me a minute to really get immersed again. It's kind of a pain in my ass. I shouldn't do it, but I also want to. But it was absolutely amazing, and it's so worth my time to read Fugitive Prince. And if you've gone this far, what the hell are you doing? You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be here. I should say, thank you for watching, but if you have not read Wars of Light and Shadow up to the Fugitive Prince or further, you should not be here. There we go. Fixed. But, man, and I'm so excited for other people to be getting into Janny Wurts right now, and I cannot wait to see John's video, and it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. Or, well, all their videos, because they're doing so much stuff over there. It's amazing. And, I mean, Fugitive Prince was just a 5-star read. You know, it's probably the best book I've read in the month of January. It is definitely a new favorite. And that's all I have to say. Have you read Fugitive Prince? I hope you have. And what are your thoughts on it? Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day and amazing weekend, because this should be coming out Friday. And see you all next time.